And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, hopping into Game 3 here between FlyQuest Academy and Golden Gardens Academy. To save their Proving Grounds lives here, Smacks, we had a one-sided Game 1 for Golden Gardens Academy where they had a very commanding win, and then Game 2 there, FlyQuest Academy bringing it back around.
Yeah, quite the comeback to make up for lost time where Niles was getting so far ahead on this gangplank. It all starts with this great dive from Golden Guardians. They juggle turret aggro very nicely, and a teleport for Yunbi secures it as well. Of course, it turns around when Rosethorn attempts to go for Drake right after, and it starts the Drake stacking for NXI and the gang, but really, all of this early game was about the fact that Golden Guardians had just a ton of gold into their carries. They had the scaling online with Ziggs and Gangplank. And then, Triple, turns out, is very good at LeBlanc.
Apparently so. We can even see Philip. He struggled most of the game, but at the very end there when it counted most, he made things happen for himself as we see him go down here to Prismal, but it does not matter because this is where you see that dragon getting picked up by the side of FlyQuest. The smite is true. Rosethorn also struggling to get his way onto most of the objectives throughout this game here. And it's just not able to really pick up those dragons. That first one getting stolen away, this one not being able to get the steal. And despite the fact that Golden Guardians had this early lead, as you mentioned, just struggling in the mid to late game to make plays happen, whereas Triple and Johnson especially, who we see go down here, ends up getting his revenge a little bit later on with a few cheesy bush tactics.
The picks for FlyQuest in this game were amazing. This is another one of them where Philip just gets to flash over this wall and take out Prismal, who doesn't have a flash of his own to survive it, and then gets donated a double kill as Rosethorn decides that he can't survive even if he stays in his own lamb's respite. And it's every single member on FlyQuest who's finding these plays and getting all of them down, but the most impressive to me was Johnson on this vein, diving underneath turrets, making flanks happen in the top lane, in the bottom lane, and mid lane. Just every single time that he pressed final hour, you know that somebody is going to die. Look, here's another one.
The flank coming in from Johnson. He's taking a full-on 1v1 versus his top laner. We were talking to Champion Select that he might be going, the vein might be going towards that top side of the map to deal with this gangplank, but no, it is instead just being played by the AD carry, but played so phenomenally well. Might as well have been a 1v1 every time he took these fights, and then Dreams with that follow-up, and NXI absolutely decimating the back end of that team fight there to get the victory in Game 2 for FlyQuest Academy, putting themselves into a best-of-1 here.
I just love this strategy for FlyQuest, and I love that they did this while going back to that red side, so they made sure that Niles didn't have some kooky counter pick to shut down all their plans. They made sure to ban out the mid lane, which ended up being very effective, as it turns out, on Yunbi. He did only die the one time in the late game, but wasn't able to get himself off the ground. He played a much more supportive role in this game, helping out the side lanes and getting them ahead himself. Not necessarily the most effective way to play Irelia, as it turns out, and Triple got very far ahead, got 4 items in that late game, was able to burst down everybody thanks to that CS lead that he picked up for himself. And I think going into this next game, yeah, you're switching over to the blue side again for FlyQuest, but perhaps they can retain some of that same strategy. Maybe they ban out a couple of those picks that Yunbi really likes to go for, and perhaps even first pick one for themselves.
Yeah, and they continue to apply pressure in the mid game this time around in this game. It'd be able to really blow that one open. It felt like, again, the early game lead is still going over to Golden Guardians. They're still able to find those advantageous plays for themselves, especially around the top side of the map with Niles. They just weren't able to really execute it on this time the same way that they were in the first game. A little bit more vision control, a little bit more objective control coming in from Golden Guardians, and this time around for Game 3, we can see them try and pull out the victory as well if they're able to find the way to continue their leads throughout the early stages into the mid game of this game.
I think for FlyQuest, they've got a lot of momentum in their side, but this series has really just been around who has the better pick threat. In game number 1, Golden Guardians had so much stun power that they could just use at any given moment. They had the point click of the gold card, the Pantheon W, and not to mention newbie smurfing it on bar, just cross map ultimates. Amazing stuff from Golden Guardians, but then you turn around and you give Triple this LeBlanc, you give fill up his Jace, which he was put down really far behind in that early game, but you still have so much damage in that 2-item spike for Jace, especially if your targets are lost on whether or not I build a bunch of armor so that I survive the Jace, or I build a bunch of magic resistance, or I survive triples LeBlanc. It's just like a lose-lose situation unless you're just buying like a Gargoyle Stoneplate on Ziggs, but that's not really where you want to be thinking about if you're playing this on Golden Guardian's side. So I think this pick threat composition for really both teams has worked very well, and it's something that both teams have to now consider when we get into this third and final game.
It does ask a lot of questions about what we're going to be expecting to see in this third and final pick and ban phase coming up in just a couple of minutes here. I'm curious to see whether or not Bard makes it back through, whether the Gangplank is making it through once again, and whether or not this time Golden Guardians is going to be able to answer another potential Vayne. Do they go back to the Trundle priority that we saw so early on, which ended up not doing nearly as much in the support role as we saw it do in the jungle when it was being piloted by Rosethorn?
I think the Trundle definitely more effective when you give it that more econ build, and I mean we saw the Imperial Mandate didn't end up doing a whole lot for newbie in that game either, so maybe that's the biggest shakeup the Golden Guardians are looking for as they have selected to go over to red.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw it over to a quick 2-minute break as we get set up for Champion Select. So we'll have all these answers and more for you, like who's going to win and who's going to continue their Proving Grounds run here at the 2021 Summer Proving Grounds between FlyQuest Academy and Golden Guardians Academy. We'll see you guys soon. We're hitting up Champion Select here for Game 3 between FlyQuest Academy and Golden Guardians Academy. Got a couple of ideas of what to expect here. We've been seeing some Unity focus coming out from FlyQuest Academy throughout the entirety of this first and second game in Champion Select, already hitting us up with that Twisted Fate ban here. Meanwhile, Golden Guardians Academy not wanting to let NXI run free with this Lee Sin, and once again, they're taking it off the table.
And as we keep this one in mind, last game, they banned out Yunbi 3 times. It was the Twisted Fate, the Syndra, and the Rise. But they've taken a little bit of a detour this time around, Chris. They are going to ban away that Trundle. And we were questioning whether or not Golden Guardians go back to that pick, as it is a pretty big flex pick for them. We've seen Rosethorn and Newbie play it. But FlyQuest just make that decision for them. They cut it off right away and will not be available anymore. Golden Guardians keeping the same Xin Zhao ban that we've seen throughout the series so far. While FlyQuest do ban a second mid laner, they keep open the Syndra for the first time in this series.
I'm curious to see whether or not that's going to be a priority pick picked up by FlyQuest Academy or not. They have been focusing away at this mid lane, making sure that UNB is staying very uncomfortable. We were also talking about the potential of that LeBlanc ban coming out here from the side of Golden Guardians Academy. Triple absolutely popping off on it in this last game. Constantly finding picks, constantly playing super aggressive. But what that does mean is that last kind of part of 4 super strong junglers we've been seeing, the Lee Sin, the Jin Zhao, the Trundle, and the Viego, left open here by Golden Guardians Academy from taking away that LeBlanc. Does mean the Syndra's open, so if they want to pick that one up, they need to be prioritizing towards that in order to make sure that UNB is staying on something comfortable if they're going to be giving over priority pick like this Viego.
Syndra feels likely to me for UNB, as that's been banned away in the previous 2 games. And we mentioned before how UNB hasn't necessarily had the largest champion pool of all of the mid laners, but what he does play, he plays it very, very well. It's one of the reasons why FlyQuest are trying to ban him out, and one of the reasons why UNB is just threatening enough to do that for. As Rosethorn, you mentioned that the top of the table junglers are off the board. Rosethorn's still very confident in this Kindred. Even though it didn't look the strongest in Game 2, he is still very confident on it, and it does allow you to get some pressure from a ranged position in jungle, which is a very unique thing that Kindred provides.
Hopefully to see Rosethorn, you know, kind of play around this Viego who wants to be popping off in team fights, resetting with that ultimate, stealing people's bodies, using that Lamb's Respite will buy a large avenue of time for Golden Guardians Academy to be able to stall out the resets that FlyQuest wants to do here. I'm curious to see what FlyQuest Academy is going to be pairing alongside this Viego. Typically, we've seen a Varus or an Ezreal being picked up here, something to poke and provide the easy resets for the Viego to pop off in the backline, but instead, it's going to be the instant Aphelios and Thresh lock, or Aphelios took a while, but the Thresh classic pairing is going to be instant lockdown.
And they were thinking about whether or not they wanted to lock in this duo, but eventually it does come through, and it's a lot of power now in the bot lane duo for Johnson and Dreams. They, of course, will be against the Ziggs again for Prismal. It was banned in Game 1, but with the way that this series has evolved, FlyQuest not as concerned about the Ziggs as the Twisted Fate and the Trundle anymore. So that one going over to Prismal once more. I imagine that Golden Guardians are saving their top laner for last again, as they do want Niles to be very ahead off of the laning phase. So for Golden Guardians, they're looking to blind pick, or fourth pick rather, their support. FlyQuest probably are going to start banning those away, or perhaps take a little bit of a diversion and ban this Gangplank. Yeah, there it is. You want to remove Niles off that pick. You don't have that Vayne anymore.
Gangplank Jace bans coming in from FlyQuest. I would hope so, because that's what we've been talking about all series so far, is just how good Niles has been looking on these 2 champions. He did pull out the Ornn in his series earlier versus TSM, and it did look quite well. He was able to make a couple of great picks on it, as well as we have that final ban coming in from Golden Guardians Academy is going to be the Victor. Now that there is a disparity in the mid lane champions here as well, there is potentially for the Viego to go towards that mid lane, but you don't really see it. It's almost exclusively played in the jungles these days, which means, do we expect to see that this final Jace ban is going to come through, or is it going to be a match towards making sure that the support pool is also going to be pinched here from the side of FlyQuest? Ooh, Ornn.
Yeah, removing the Ornn from Niles' pool. He did put up a great performance on that champion as well against TSM. The champions that he's played up until this point in Proving Grounds are just Gangplank, Jace, and Ornn. So all of those removed, except for that Jace, of course, as you mentioned, could still be the option for Golden Guardians, but they're probably thinking more about the support that they want, and it is going to be that Nautilus, a nice pick against a champion like Thresh. You have so much crowd control that you can counteract what Thresh is wanting to do with the death sentence, and if you hit someone with your hook, you have that route to follow up as well, and it makes it really difficult for the Dark Passage Lantern to save the target that you're crowd controlling afterwards. So I like this lock-in. Pairs pretty well with Ziggs too.
As we look at this next lock-in coming in from FlyQuest Academy, though, it is looking like a very heavy teamfight composition coming in from FlyQuest. We mentioned before that we got a lot of picks going on across the board here from both of these teams. It's kind of been the style that has been winning. In Game 1, we saw the Golden Guardians with the global composition was so strong. And in this last game, Vayne and LeBlanc were the 2 carries that were constantly finding people out of position. But you can't look at this composition here from FlyQuest Academy and tell me that they're looking for picks Aphelios, Azir, Wukong, and the Viego resets. FlyQuest Academy is looking to take it to you as a 5-man unit, and they are looking to absolutely snowball through this 3rd and final game.
Very, very true, and I feel like that's pretty true for both of these teams as well. I think Golden Guardians have slightly more of that on their side, especially now that Camille has been the lock-in, but Syndra, Scatter the Weak, Nautilus, Dredge Line, and Depth Charge, and now Camille with the Hextech Ultimatum, all these tools are very good at singling somebody out and splitting up a fight for Golden Guardians Academy. So if history repeats itself, the team with the greater pick threat is the victor in the end. Golden Guardians have more of that right now, but as you said, for FlyQuest, this is very, very geared toward that front to back, even more so than we saw in Game 1. They've got so much crowd control in their front line, and so much consistent DPS from Aphelios and Azir.
It's going to be really interesting to see kind of what is the biggest disparity in team compositions we've seen so far come head to head here. I'm also curious to see about a lot of these like specific interactions, specifically around Kindred in particular. You have the Azir that can rush everybody out of the Lamb's Respite, and then on the other side that opens up the avenue for Viego to really pop off and use the Heartbreaker ultimate on reset here over and over again. But if that Lamb's Respite does come down and it is successful, then you know that's the entirety of what FlyQuest Academy is trying to do here being denied. So it's going to be a very tense game 3 here, as I'm expecting a lot of mechanical outplays to really be the defining factor here between this final game between these two Academy teams.
Feels like every single player on the Rift in this Game 3 has had carry performances in the series already today at different moments in different team fights, and it's going to have to be again in this third final game, as both teams are trying to continue that Proving Grounds run going and get into that top 8. This is the lower round 2. This is competing to move forward or stay in contention for 9th through 12th. And I know both these teams are trying to get further on. Both of these teams actually did make it farther than that in the spring Proving Grounds. Golden Guardians even making it all the way to 5th, 6th place. So both these teams have pretty high expectations on their side and a lot of support backing them today. I know I've been seeing the FlyQuest and Golden Guardians fans in the chat today. Excited to see which one of them will be continuing on into the rest of this week.
I love to see what Niles has done here. He's decided to opt out of that flash. He's going for that ignite. You sometimes see it on these very aggressive mobile top laners here. And with Camille being a scaling pick that wants to look for these split pushes, that wants to be fighting constantly in a side lane, Niles has absolutely taken that style of I'm going to win lane and I'm going to win this game through my pure carry potential. And he is running away with it by opting to not take this flash. It does mean that he needs to be very safe throughout the early stages of this game, though, because he is very susceptible to getting ganked by NXI, who's going to be able to stun him up. You get the CC coming in from Philip, who can also flash and use that Wukong ultimate to knock up Niles, and there will not be a whole lot that he can do to escape a gank.
Another cool thing that Niles did just now was bully out NXI on his blue buff take, and it forced him to take the smite right away. Not the most efficient use of smite there, but you have to do it so you don't get it stolen away by a straight tactical sweep from Niles. So NXI using that spell, getting the sustain at a time where he doesn't really need it, and he might need to use this one or save the smite to an inopportune moment just so he can contest on this bot lane scuttle crab as Rosethorn, where we're still not quite sure if he's going to get the mark of his choosing in top or in bot. We're going to find out in about 30 seconds time, but if he is in that bot side of the map, NXI is going to be more prepared to deal with it and deny that first mark.
It's always the coin flip that every Kindred player dreads at the start of the game, is which Scuttle Crab is going to have that first mark. It's typically the easiest mark to get in the game, but if it's not on your side of the map when it spawns, it's well out of luck there, unfortunately. I am curious to see this bottom side of the map, though. Johnson and Dreams already shoving up extremely hard into Prismal and Newbie. Means that Rosethorn, however, coming towards this mid lane, not going to be able to find a gank there, as that mark, as we were talking about, Smex, spawns on the bottom side of the map.
Ooh, he's going for top side anyway, knowing that there might already be a Viego waiting in preparation for it. And he wants more pressure on this top side anyway, because Niles already has a level lead over Philip. It's much easier for this Camille to help out Rosethorn on the crab. It's exactly what we're seeing Rosethorn do. Going right back to clearing out these Krugs, and while it was a loss, he ended up flipping tails on the mark. He's got some more time in the game to stack those one up, and it's certainly not the end of the game already off of that one play.
Final game. Going to be very tense between these two teams. I'm waiting to see how these team fights break out here. It's going to be the biggest defining factor for both of these teams. We talked about it so far this series, that both of these teams kind of pride themselves on their team fight potential, and they've been both winning with very pick-heavy compositions here. I am curious to see how this bottom lane is going to match up as well, because typically Ziggs likes to just shove out these waves, go for that early turret pushing, but with Johnson and Dreams already shoving up the lane so aggressively, it did provide that avenue for NXI to be on the bottom side of the map and pick up that Scuttle Crab as well. Aphelios and Thresh, another classic pairing here we were mentioning before that are oh so strong because it allows Aphelios to scale into the late game, matching kind of the scaling that Prismal is hoping to do on this Ziggs.
A small thing from Johnson as well, he actually picks up boots instead of a dagger, which would help him build up his first mythic item slightly faster, but delays it just to get back this lane in time. Miles, though, has Ignite.
Drops the Ignite. Philip, though, has the backup of NXI here in order to get him out safe as he just throws down the Shroud in order to let Niles know not to go any further than that, or else he sacrifices his own life in that lane. No flash available for Niles, and Ignite down does mean that a lot of that pressure from taking those different summer spell on the top side of the map has been mitigated, at least for the next couple of minutes.
Philip has to teleport up to that top lane also, otherwise he just misses out on way too many minions, meaning that Golden Guardians don't have to worry about any teleport. They already saw Triple use that one straight away in mid lane, and they get out of this play, though, that's the question.
We're going to have to see if NXI can get in. That's the flash over the wall. The stun coming out. Throwstorm has to flash away in return, but Triple, one more auto attack, will find it with the Soldier. First blood going over to FlyQuest's Academy.
Nice play by Triple to get over there. He waited in desperation for NXI to flash forward with his stun. It ends up connecting, and Newbie and Rosethorn have to flash away, but it's not enough to save the jungler of Golden Guardians. We get to watch this one again. They have a swift exit. Rosethorn dodges out on the death sentence, but doesn't flash in time to avoid the stun.
NXI with a snipe there on, by the way, on to Rosethorn in particular, who was the lowest health member on the side of Golden Guardians Academy. If he had hit Prismal, there's a very much a possibility that Prismal and Rosethorn get a walk away there because of how close that kill was for the side of FlyQuest Academy. Great aim there coming in by NXI to just pick off the correct member that he needed to be aiming for.
Absolutely. Golden Guardians, they might finally get that first mark of the game. Look at this, Icarus. It's on the bot side Scuttle. They've brought Newbie, they've brought Yoonbi. I think they have done it. Congratulations, Rosethorn. You now have your first Kindred mark. Well done.
3 more to go, and maybe Kindred will become a champion in this game. Typically joking around, and he doesn't really do much until you have that extended auto attack range and the extra attack speed off of your passive as well is always nice to have there if you are piloting this Kindred. Level 6 is getting close here from both junglers, or NXI already having access to his ultimate. Meanwhile, Rosethorn still waiting to hit that level 6 power spike, having access to that Lamb's Respite, as the Rift Herald will be spawning in about 45 seconds here. Not the biggest of objectives for either one of these teams, and so far it's been a fairly slow game in terms of ganking potential. The only real pressure coming onto the map is that first dragon that was spawned onto the map smacks, and I was hoping to see some more action in game 3, but both teams really playing safe here, wanting to pick up this final win.
Both these junglers wanting to scale up throughout the game also. Rosethorn on the Kindred for the second game in a row. It's not really one that's known for early ganks, but counter ganks are where Kindred can really thrive as NXI is in position.
Ooh, that's going to be the ultimate use in order to pull up NXI. He drops down immediately to the Hexstep ultimatum paired alongside that unleashed power. Philip, he's up there without a team to pack him up. He's going to get the Ignite. He uses the clone. Newbie following away just to make sure that he doesn't get the execute, but Niles with the hook shot will secure the second kill of that top lane fight.
Philip ends up losing that 1v1 to Newbie thanks to Ignite, dealing so much damage in a 1v1 setting. Philip knows all too well he's had to play against Niles on the Ignite Camille this game. And as you said before, Rift Herald hasn't been the highest priority of either one of these teams so far in this series, but it's not going to stop Rosethorn from taking a free one as we get to watch this play again. I love that Yoonbi is fully prepared to commit Flash just to get all this damage down onto NXI.
And you love to see the coordination that's coming in here from Golden Guardians. They say that we've been saying that they're a team fight coordinated based team, that they work well when they're all paired together, and the commitment that they have to go in as a unit here. Even there with Newbie making sure that Niles is the one to get the kill instead of finishing it off himself with a couple of auto attacks. He makes sure that that gold is going towards the Camille on the top side. Kindred picking up the other kill in that fight. Two of these scaling picks that Golden Guardians want to get rolling early are already have themselves a kill and have themselves a little bit of a CS.
Guardians, they can rest easy knowing that they have this early and mid game on lock. They played it so well in game 1 from a lead. But at the same time, Icarus, they had a lead in the beginning of game 2, and they let it go to the wayside thanks to some amazing picks from Triple and Johnson mainly. But the whole team for FlyQuest played around that really, really well. We're going to need to see Golden Guardians keep more of that game 1 flavor, less so of the throw of game 2. They're wanting to close out the series and keep moving, improving rounds.
A lot of that is going to be up to the hands of Niles and Rosethorn. They have been the big playmakers here for the side of Golden Guardians throughout this series. Game 1, it was by their hands that they won. In Game 2, it's by their hands that they weren't able to run away with the lead the same way that they did in Game 1 here, as we have a teleport using the bottom lane here by Prismal. Goes back, is able to pick up himself a lost chapter. Fight happening over the wall, though, as Newbie gets engaged on by the side of NXI and Dreams.
Wow.
Dreams going down immediately. The stopwatch coming out by Newbie just to buy himself some more time. That's going to be the reset, though. That's one for now. The ultimate coming in. Lamb's Respite not doing much. We talked about it before. The Shurima Shuffle will deny the life-saving ultimate from Rosethorn, and that's going to mean Dragon Priority going over to FlyQuest Academy.
Immaculate roam from Triple, and this is what happens when you pick Kindred super early on into that draft. You get into these situations where the enemy team has so much displacement. Like you said, Triple gets to knock you off your feet, sweep you directly out of the Kindred ultimate, and if you're in a corridor, there's no way you can get back in either unless you're trying to flash beyond it. Rosethorn wasn't able to do that. He wasn't even able to keep his support alive either. They give up that Drake in the game 1, where, well, they gave up the Drake right now, whereas in game 1 they took them all back to back to back to back.
This is the first time that we've seen really a split one-to-one Drake in this series as well. Both supports coming up to the top side of the map with no Dragon on the bottom side to be contested here. Now is going extremely aggressive, is going to be able to pick up that plating for himself here. Everybody from both sides, jungler and support, showing up on the top side of the map, but no real plays are going to be made here. And you love to see it's kind of this awareness from both teams as they're saying, you know, the Dragon just got taken, there's a reset here. Even if we're not forcing something ourselves, both supports are fully aware that there's a potential of a roam from the enemy team there, and both of them answering on the top side of the map.
It's another moment, too, where neither support has actually finished their support item quite yet, so there isn't actually a word available for them to use quite yet. They need to stay in that lane a little bit longer if they want to have access to the team's team-wide vision, but Newbie and Dreams have been needed elsewhere. The bot laners have been left to their lonesome. Prismal definitely okay with that one on Ziggs. He wants to scale up, but wants some more pressure now that Rosethorn and Newbie have brought themselves a Rift Herald.
This will crash for a few good plates here. Should be going over to the hands of Rosethorn. Will be receiving all of this as Prismal is not in range for that local gold, unfortunately. It's not going to be the game-breaking Rift Herald that we've seen before. It doesn't give them a whole lot of pressure across the map, but some extra gold to the hands of this team. So he's already picked up 2 kills. Does feel good. That's going to be a route, though. That's going to be the flash forward. Not going to be able to find the death sentence, though, as Prismal responds with a flash of his own. Great awareness there by Prismal to get away safely.
Large commitment for FlyQuest to not get the kill, though Dreams was just a hair too slow on his flash death sentence. This is one of the reasons why Aphelios and Thresh are paired together so often, is because of that interaction with Gravitum and death sentence, but just doesn't quite connect in the end. Johnson was too far forward and Dreams too far back, just not on the same page. But the good part is they get to push in this wave, and I believe that was Dreams picking up finally his wards for his steel shoulder guards and his support item choice.
Next round should be just a little bit more effective if that's the case. Having access to those wards for himself. A couple of platings picked up as well here. This Dragon is Still 2.5 minutes out from spawning onto the map here. We are having a Mountain Soul this game, though neither team really having a true tank outside of Newbie's Nautilus here, so not a whole lot of armor or magic resistance stacking to be expected from either team, but an extra shield for the likes of Prismal, Unb, Johnson, or Triple is always well appreciated.
What else is appreciated, though? It's taking all of the turret plates with Prismal on this Ziggs. While we didn't see the turret get taken immediately with the Rift Herald from before, this is the aftermath of when you do send that objective into a lane with Ziggs. He gets to just walk up, get all of his siege damage down with his passive and his W, and just demolish it right away. This is it's why he was previously a demolitionist in TFT. It's because of that. Very thematic reference to Teamfight Tactics Set 3. It's been about a year since that existed, so hopefully we'll still get that reference.
I think it was was it Rumble and Gangplank that were the other two demolitionists?
It was.
Oh,
yeah,
I do remember this one. Ooh, that was like
nice.
one of the few sets that I actually did play. Was that one? I enjoyed the Super Mech with Rumble, Annie, and Fizz. That was a great one.
Yeah, it was a fun time, and then if you give Demolitionist to your Aurelian Soul as well, it was really broken. So
just stuns everybody for a week. It was disgusting. Yep. Oh, hold on though. Ooh. This is going to be another stun for a week here as Rothor gets stunned by NXI. Played back, but he's not going to be the one going down here. It's Prismal with the bomb from over the wall that's going to be able to find the kill for his team. The Mega Infernal Bomb securing 2 kills here inside of Golden Guardians. Philip though on the top side. Oh, it's coming up. Golden Guardians across the map here. Smacks as Niles finds himself a solo kill as well.
Disaster for FlyQuest on all fronts, and it's off the back of just pure mechanical prowess from Golden Guardians. You saw how patient Rosethorn was with that Lamb's Respite. He waited so patiently to get those kills before he saved his own life. It was a split second after NXI died and before he would have died that he got it in. That was the perfect window for Rosethorn, keeping his shutdown alive and keeping pressure over this dragon that we mentioned before is a really big bonus for these teams.
And we see here, just as you were saying, Rosethorn, he gets chunked out, but he knows that that isn't going to be the killing blow for himself, and it's not until we have the re-engage from NXI that he really pops that Lamb's Respite. To be honest with you, he was a little bit late there. Surprised he didn't go down, but the fact that he gets it out just at the perfect moment where NXI dies and he can keep himself alive from the red buff, from the red smite, will secure that second dragon for Golden Guardians. They're trying to rotate their way towards this top side of the map, though, Smacks, because they do not want to be giving over this Rift Herald for free. Teleport coming in from both teams, but as Philip that has the flank, Prismal is now here to join the fight, and that should mean the back away here from Golden Guardians. They don't know where this Wukong is, and they will just allow this Rift Herald to go over to FlyQuest Academy. In returns, they are going to grab this mid lane turret.
Really like this response from Golden Guardians. They keep mid lane priority, and FlyQuest fully committed all 5 members to the Rift Herald, so it's going to be a second turret immediately. We mentioned before how strong the siege threat is for Ziggs the Demolitionist, and Rift Herald, the only thing that's going to get you is turrets. So the fact that Golden Guardians get these retroactively off the back of that trade, alongside that teleport from Prismal, a less valuable teleport than something like a Niles or a Unb teleport, I might add, is a really great trade, but they're not even satisfied with that. They're looking for more.
They want to try and gather around this top side of the map. They said we took your bot lane out, or we took your mid lane out, or now we want your top lane out, and maybe your lives as well. Instead, it's going to be a reset coming in here as they just picked up a bunch of gold for themselves, sitting at a 4,000 gold lead after that play was made. There is potential here for that Rift Herald to kind of even things out, but will it get the same amount of charges and pressure that a 5-man stack with Ziggs can do in the mid lane? I highly doubt it here, because we're already seeing Golden Guardians. They found themselves another early game lead. Now it's up to them to continue to pressure this one, continue to force this game forward in their advantage.
Like this position from Rosethorn, playing very defensively, knowing that Unb was in a precarious situation if FlyQuest were all there. And it turns out they absolutely were all there. 4 members of FlyQuest trying to stack up and shut down this Syndra. They are still in the area as Unb, peeks his head out around the corner. Is it safe for me to go and farm now? Can I go back to killing my minions? It turns out it is. Guardians just preparing for the worst. And that's really just something you have to do when you are this far ahead. If you make sure that the plays that you go for from here on out are as high percentage as possible, then just lets you keep your lead through thick and thin, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Golden Guardians. They did a great job of this in Game 1. FlyQuest did a great job of it in Game 2, and we're seeing that both these teams are proving to us yet again that they are very good at keeping their leads.
So what you need to do if you want to keep your spot in the Proving Grounds as well here. A little bit of a moment of respite. 1 minute till the Baron spawns on the map, but with the Ziggs in the bottom lane and Aphelios just picking up that Immortal Shield Bow, working towards the wit's end, neither one of these teams really having enough damage just quite yet, though. If either team is going to look for an early Baron cheese, it could potentially come from the side of FlyQuest alongside this Viego and Azir, so Golden Guardians have to keep that in mind always, that if they ever leave this Baron alone for just too long, a lot of DPS, that team fight composition coming in from FlyQuest Academy, has the potential to melt straight through the Purple Worm.
Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Rift Herald has been summoned, but it wasn't actually needed to take that turret, so is it going to actually get a single charge off? That is now the question that FlyQuest are trying to answer. Nice hook onto Niles. Can they turn it into anything else?
Ooh, Philip over the wall here is going to use the Cyclone just to buy some time, prevent Niles from continuing that fight. The Rift Herald will get a charge off into the bottom lane inner turret, but it will not be able to secure the turret for itself. Meanwhile, Triple is just securing himself farm on the top side of the map. Remember, both of these teams have quite a few scaling picks here. Viego, Azir, Aphelios, Kindra, Syndra, Ziggs on the other side, Camille as well. Both of these teams have been just ramping up here in Game 3 towards these mid to late game team fights, and so far it's been Golden Guardians that found that early lead. They're still trying to find a way to find a fight, though. With 50 seconds left on this next dragon coming up, Golden Guardians definitely want to try and get some priority around this bottom side of the map, and look at their ward coverage already.
They're going for the Drake stack once more, Icarus, and while they missed out on that second one, they've got that scaling online, and they have just already this huge gold lead that they can flex their muscles with. It's so difficult to actually get into a fight when you have this really strong setup of the double mage Yunbi and Prismal are showing to us, with the scatter the weak threat and all of the little minefield bombs that you have to walk through for Prismal as well. FlyQuest need to find something similar to what they showed us in Game 2, where they had all of these picks that they showed us from Triple and Johnson, but the problem is they just aren't suited for that one with the champions that they've drafted this time. They banned out the LeBlanc on the side of Golden Guardians, the main tool that Triple was using to get all of that advantage for himself. And now with this Azir, you're really just not built to do that. You're trying to go for 5v5 team fights, and it's so difficult to actually get those down, no matter how good your champion is, if you're this far behind.
FlyQuest with an interesting decision here. They're opting to keep 3 members on the top side of the map. They want to try and pressure this top lane inner turret with Dragon spawning onto the map. However, with the rest of Golden Guardians on the bottom side, they're able to pick up that bot lane inner turret for themselves. A lot of that gold being picked up here by Prismal, by Rosethorn, and they also have priority on this third Drake here. Smacks, they pick themselves up a second Mountain Drake. They're going to be putting themselves on Soul Point here as well. Meanwhile, it was just the wave on the top side being picked up. Golden Guardians with a great heads-up play there to know Dragon's coming up here soon, and FlyQuest a little bit slow on the rotation.
Yeah, they're just playing like hungry vultures in that top lane right there, waiting for Yunbi to maybe step out to get pecked to death. But Golden Guardians were already committing to that Drake. Like you said, they didn't have their biggest stronghold up in the top lane. They only really need Yunbi there to make sure they don't lose out on that turret. And now the FlyQuest didn't find the advantage that they were looking for in the top lane. They've spread out to the other side of the map, but now there's nothing for them to take in bot lane. And FlyQuest, while they're getting more resources on their players, it's not going to be a huge advantage that they're getting. They're just staying afloat in this game. They have to have some breakout performance or a breakout team fight if they're going to find a way back into this game, because Golden Guardians are just really not going to give it to them. You have to go out and get it for yourself.
You don't out-push a Ziggs that can use the satchel charge in order to blow up a turret. You can't out-farm an opponent when they're also farming the opposite side of the map here in Golden Guardians. They've kept up their 4,000 gold lead. They've kept up their objective pressure throughout this game, and they're looking set and primed to try and take this Game 3 here between them and FlyQuest Academy. Baron, the only objective left on the map, is now his Golden Guardians that have found themselves towards his top side with the ward coverage. It was previously belonging to FlyQuest. I would personally like to see them maybe try a sneak away on that with all the DPS that they have available, but instead, it does really feel like a lot of this tempo is in the hands of Golden Guardians, and that they're struggling on the side of FlyQuest to find where their next objective, find where their next play is going to be made, because they don't really have the hardest of engage tools on their team.
When you're vouching for a Baron sneak, you know they're in dire straits. Like, this is not the most reliable play to go for FlyQuest, but they've got to try something at this point. They are getting outscaled and out-rotated on the map. Golden Guardians can bide their time, wait for these objectives to be at their peak. And they've already got, I believe, 4 stacks on Rosethorn now too, so even he's scaled up on this Kindred. I believe we can check on this one. I'm pretty sure that it only marks Baron once you already have that many, so I'm pretty positive that's the case.
We'll get a check on that in just a little bit here as we see all of Golden Guardians gathering around this top side of the map, trying to clear out the ward, getting the scuttle for themselves, as we see FlyQuest also positioning towards his middle lane here. Is this the potential setup for a team fight? Don't think so, as both the Unb and Philip are just in these side lanes, clearing out wave after wave, and this game is an everlasting scaling option here, as Golden Guardians are actually the ones that are trying to force this early Baron startup here.
Teleport available from Philip and Triple, and there's even going to be a Scryer's Bloom to tell FlyQuest how fast it's going down, but can they do anything about it?
Got the teleport on the backside. Kindred secures it. That's gonna be Philip blown up by Unb. Unleashed power comes out, and Philip didn't even stand a chance. Baron secured by all 5 members of Golden Guardians.
Half HP just from one QE combo. That is not what you want your tank on your team to have to face through. But Philip just cannot survive the onslaught from Unb at this point. Almost onto his 3rd item now after this play, and Golden Guardians, let's see what they can do now with this extra bonus siege that they already had that Ziggs from before. Now with Baron, you have to think that they're looking for these inhibitor turrets.
It's a 6,000 gold lead as well here, Smacks, for the side of Golden Guardians. All the outer turrets are down. 2 out of 3 inner turrets are up here. The only things left here for Golden Guardians to break down is those inhibitors and eventually the Nexus. FlyQuest is going to have to find some fight, some opportunity to take advantage of the composition they have drafted for themselves here, where they're looking to set up a big 5-on-5 wombo combo. You have the Cyclone, you have the Shurima Shuffle available from Triple and NXI, the potential to pop off here. If you take a fight, there's always potential, but with this continued pressure from Golden Guardians across the map, they've just been struggling to find any secure fight for themselves.
Guardians committed 3 members to try to kill Triple, but they've given up all of this pressure around the bot side river. This could be the opportunity for FlyQuest to get into the river first and find a solid engage. As the teleports are coming in, everybody's going to be arriving for this fight. It is potentially the soul for Golden Guardians. They have a gigantic lead, but that's not going to stop them from just ending the game right now. Niles may have already found Philip. You don't have Cyclone now.
Ooh, scary situation here for Philip. Got caught up by that Scrying's orb, has to back away entirely, using the flash to keep himself safe as the dragon has been started up here by the side of FlyQuest. They're doing some damage with those Aphelios turrets. That's a hook, though. That's going to be a pick onto Niles. He tries to go over the wall with the hook shot, but is not going to be able to. Then Mega Inferno Ball comes over to do so much damage to Johnson. Mortal Shield Bolt already proc, but it's going to be at the life of Niles. Now it is Orthstone that goes down, and the dragon has not been completed yet. There is no smite for Golden Guardians, and it is FlyQuest that is able to secure that dragon based off of NXI's smite. They do get one in return for the side of Golden Guardians, but they give up the soul point, and they give over 3 kills at the end of the day.
And Niles was on a ward when he was trying to flank over to that brush. Dreams had a great setup and lands a perfect death sentence, even staying with the FLYA to make sure that Niles can't just hookshot over the wall. He can't just ult to safety. It gives over a huge shutdown, and NXI gets to become Camille all of a sudden. And Niles is so fed that this gives NXI a huge bonus to his power. NXI starts the fight over this wall in his own stealth, but once he sees that he can beat Camille, he's like, well, give me that one. I'm going for the fight. I'm trying to win this one for my squad. A double kill for Philip. Make sure that he gets to I just realized how he dies. He dies to a spray Q from Prismal in the pit. That's pretty rough. But Prismal getting that double kill is nice bonus for himself, even though he dies.
Everybody on the side of Philip's asking everyone why they didn't tank the Q for him, and they all ask him why he didn't dodge. I've been in there in solo queue with my friends too. It happens to all of us, Philip. The Cyclone having to be used as a defensive tool as well here, as Golden Guardians Academy may have lost the fight, but they are still 5,000 gold in the lead. They are still looking at a heavy item advantage for themselves as well, or a little bit in the mid lane, mostly with their jungler almost completed on that third item. They're trying to keep up the pressure. They don't want to let that fumble around that dragon be the end of the game here, as they're going to be trading in a base race triple. Top side of the map, he gets the inner turret, but now he has to back as he's already given over the inhibitor on the bottom side.
Not a great trade for triple on FlyQuest. You take what you can get, but if you're giving over an inhibitor to do it, then I don't know if that's exactly the play that you were looking for. Golden Guardians, they get a pretty sizable bonus for themselves. A lot of pressure in that bottom lane means it's a lot easier for them to set up for this next Baron in a minute and a half. And now with the third items completed for their mages, they've got Horizon Focus for Yunbi, and they've got a hat for their Yordle. This is a lot of burst.
A lot of burst available, but...
Oh no, that wasn't in the brush.
The soldier reveals it, but it doesn't matter. That's going to be the hook shot. It comes in, or not the hook shot. The death sentence is going to land on the newbie, but NXI is able to be the first one to go down there, as he is not going to have the burst follow-up from the rest of his team. Dreams going down as well. Golden Guardians, they had the heads up. They knew they were in there, and they let themselves get pulled in. Newbie even making it out with his life.
FlyQuest were setting up for a surprise birthday party for Golden Guardians, and Triple lit off the party popper just a bit too early. Surprise! Oh no, we were too late. Now he has to dodge out on the ultimate from Niles, who's diving underneath this turret. That's a kill for Triple, but they lose out another inhibitor.
Yeah, it's just constant pressure here from Golden Guardians across the map. They cannot escape the turret pressure that the Ziggs has been bringing this entire game's Prismal. Only 4 kill participation, but he has been involved in almost every single turret that has been going down with that satchel charge. He picks himself up a second inhibitor. Baron spawning in 20 seconds, just as you said, Smacks. You told me you couldn't do voiceover sound effects, though. You pull out the birthday party on me?
You know, a birthday party noise is different than a huge warrior titan slamming into the ground with a shield, I think. Maybe one is slightly easier than the other, as we're seeing Golden Guardians stack up. For this Baron, they're slightly late to the punch, though, as FlyQuest have 3 members already hitting it. Golden Guardians perhaps playing from a deficit, but they're teleporting in. Philip is late.
It seems like a very forced Baron start coming in by FlyQuest Academy. Rosethorn dropping down extremely low. Might have to use the Lamb's Respite early there just to make sure that they do not get blown up by the Moonfall coming in from Johnson here. Or the Moonlight Sigil, I should say. Now it is Golden Guardians that have the access to this Baron pit again. Has to come in a reset here for Triple in order to make sure that the base is staying alive with those double inhibitor waves, double super mini waves coming in. But this Baron, it was started up by FlyQuest. They had to back off because of the lowered resistances. Now it is Golden Guardians that starts it up and has to back away here. Neither one of these teams having the positioning, having the ward coverage to be able to force the other team away from the Baron pit.
Golden Guardians, they really don't want to lose out in the fight, because then they delay their Drake stack as well, as it's going to be spawning in about 15 seconds also. Golden Guardians realistically could give over this Baron and still come out ahead, but they really don't have any reason to. They've got more members here. Newbie, a bad spot.
Death Sentence landed, did a lot of damage. NXI dropped down from the Mega Infernal Bomb as well. These fights, they don't want to start it. This is the tension of a Game 3 here. Smacks. Oh, what a great scatter of the week coming in by Yumi as NXI goes down. That's going to be the start of the fight here from Golden Guardians Academy. That's going to be an early stopwatch. Yumi stays alive, but it is a second kill. The Shurima Shuffle trying to get the turnaround from Triple. He will find 2 for himself, but is not going to be enough, as the rest of Golden Guardians, those that do not get shuffled, stay alive. They are going to be running towards the Nexus. Niles on a slim health bar, but it is enough to win the 3rd game here for Golden Guardians versus FlyQuest Academy. They are going to be the team continuing on through the losers bracket here in week 3 as they finish off the Nexus. Prismal will be here. He's going to finish off this turret in quick succession fashion, and the Nexus falls down. Golden Guardians win 2-1.
You don't need Baron and you don't need Mountain Soul to land a Scatter the Weak like we just saw Yunbi do. What a hero play in what was otherwise a very tense back and forth situation. You and I kept highlighting this. They didn't want to actually commit to the fight. They didn't want to commit everything. And it was just like a stare down, like a duel with cowboys. And then Yunbi fires his pistol for the hip shot. It lands a headshot right away. NXI dies to the Comet. Amazing, amazing play to close out this series. And look at that, Golden Guardians Academy. They shut down that reverse sweep, and they keep going in Proving Grounds later on this week.
And congratulations to the winners, Golden Guardians, for picking up that win there as well. They're going to be continuing their streak here. Ladies and gentlemen, though, we got to give props over to Yunbi. Fantastic series played by the Golden Guardians at the end of the day. We are going to throw it over to a quick break, though, as we get ready for the interview. Oh, we're going to throw it over straight to the interview right now.
Ready.
Who are we going to be interviewing today?
I believe we got Prismal, yeah? Prismal, hey! Big fan, big fan. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Fresh.
It was a really fun series.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch as well. We got to see a couple of Ziggs games from you. This is a pick that's been banned away from you a lot in the Proving Grounds so far. You feel like you've done the champion justice at this point? You're proving why they need to be banning this one out from you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like the original Ziggs player, because I was the first one to pull it out in competitive, and everyone kind of started playing it after me. But yeah, I mean, I just felt like really confident to just pick it, especially because everyone that is picking it against us, or like everyone that picked it after me, doesn't understand it as well as I do, I feel like. So I was really happy to just be able to play it again today.
The king of Ziggs showing his face back on the Rift again. We got a chance to interview Niles back in Unified Grand Prix when you guys won that series, and he said that you guys had some cake before you won your series then. Did you guys have any sweets that you shared amongst your team today to help you win?
I had a blueberry muffin for breakfast this morning, but we didn't have a team-wide thing. But we did all kind of do our own preparations, and we came together really well. Like, this isn't like a cake-related thing or anything, but today specifically, we were all like super aware of what we needed to do to focus before the game, so that really helped the win. I mean, it was pretty much a cake buff.
You guys really coming in there. Game 3 as a unit there, especially on that final Baron fight. What was the communication like going on there? Because it was started up by FlyQuest, then you guys started it, backed away, and finally that Scatter of the Week, the huge Scatter of the Week in order to start off that last fight in order to keep your guys' Proving Ground dreams alive. What was it going on for you guys behind the scenes?
Yeah, I'll take credit for the end of the game there, because when we started the Baron and we were like, this doesn't look good, guys, we can just get the soul. I don't know what the stars align, but I was like, guys, in like 5 seconds, I think they're going to go back on the Baron and they're going to flip the game because they can't fight us on the soul.
1v9 call. 1v9 call right there. Listen, all
it literally won the series. I'm like, guys, wait. They could for sure like go back on the Nash in like 5 seconds. I think Tim, our jungler's recall, he was literally like 0.5 seconds away from finishing his base. And right as they showed, he insta-canceled it and we killed them all and won the game. So I'll take credit for that.
Nice. Well, it sounds like Niles is giving credit as well. That's a nice interrupt on the interview. Thank you. Thank you to Niles. And for you guys, you know, we've seen some similar stories from you and your squad from spring and now in the summer. You know, the regular season, it doesn't quite go your way. You have to play through the Proving Grounds qualifiers, and now you guys are making another lower bracket run. How does it feel to be back in that perhaps comfort zone for you guys, you know, making that redemption arc once more?
Yeah, honestly, for us, the lower bracket's just our comfort, like you said. It's our zone, and I always feel like when the games matter the most and it's like elimination matches, we always really come together super well, and we rely on each other a lot better than I think other teams do, especially because we've been in these situations a lot. And so, I don't know, today we were all really comfortable, we were all really confident. Even when we lost the second game, it was like, next game we'll get them. It was just like, they had really annoying champions, and obviously it showed in the third game. I think we were just a better team, and this is where we like to be, so.
Well, thank you so much. Do you have any final shout-outs for us here, Prismal? Anything you want to say to your team and to the people at home that are watching?
First, I just want to say thanks to all my staff, teammates, managers, everyone involved that works here with our process and just like making everyone better. I think all of us have been putting in a lot of effort going into Proving Grounds, and just for the last half of this this split, and we're all trying to finish out like as strong as we can and have the best showing we can. And so I'm really proud of everyone that's working, all of my teammates. I think we're all doing a good job. And then also just like the fans, appreciate everyone that watches our games and that wants us to win. Golden Guardians. Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Prismal. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man. Congratulations on the win. Looking forward to your next match.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you so much for everybody for watching that game. Thank you to Prismal for coming in and having that interview for us, and thank you to Verizon for powering that interview as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that was only the first series of tonight's fantastic games here. We do have the Civil War, the matchup that you guys have been waiting for as well after this, as we take a replay. Cloud9 Academy versus Cloud9 Amateur will be coming up afterwards, but let's take one final look at this exciting Game 3 between FlyQuest Academy and Golden Guardians.
Let's go down memory lane one last time, shall we, and give a proper send-off to FlyQuest, because this series was super competitive. It really could have gone either way, as shown by that interview where Prismal was like, well, that one call really won us the game. If the game is coming down to one single call, then you know that it is very tense, and you know that both teams are acknowledging the strength of each other. But I think in the third game here, it really came to a head with the way that Golden Guardians play around their big carries, and that is Niles and Prismal. In most of these games, this one was really about Niles. They camped him once more. He got to win out on the side lane again, and when the plays happened in the bot lane as well, Prismal was able to just play from right here where you can see he's just underneath his own turret. He's so safe, and he can just throw bombs to his heart's delight in these plays. It was a really nice early game plan, and I think Prismal was maybe selling himself a bit too short with how ahead they actually were at that stage of the game. It was a great stage for Golden Guardians.
Prismal, if I'm not mistaken, went this entire final game without dying a single time, so really showing up big for his team here, constantly having the bombs in the right position, and as you said, selling himself short on just how far ahead he was on his team and the rest of his team, constantly finding these great fights for himself and finding these amazing Mega Infernal Bombs, the tragic soldier that let everybody know that there was an army waiting here as NXI gets blown up by the side of Golden Guardians Academy. That final Baron fight as well really being the big turning point, the ending statement here as we see this hook coming in, but Newbie manages to make it out, and it's just such a tense situation from here.
It's games like this that, I mean, Proving Grounds is really all about. You get these really close best-of-3 series. You're fighting for your life. You're fighting to stay in the bracket and keep proving yourself and your team's strength. Absolutely love moments like this, and I mean, you can see to the bitter end, Triple is pulling out all the stops. He's going for the Shurima shuffles even when he knows that it's not going to be a favorable spot for him to be in. But you gotta give him props. You gotta give props to FlyQuest as they end their journey here, but Golden Guardians Academy keep going, and they will play against the winner of our next series tonight.
Yeah, and that next series is also going to be in just a couple of days here. So with that being said, we are going to finally look at this next series, Cloud9 Academy versus Cloud9 Amateur. We got the Civil War here, Smacks. It's going to be an exciting series, but we'll be back in just a couple of minutes after a quick pause. We'll see you guys with more rundown of how the Civil War is going to play out.